Hey everyone, it's Tracy Martiran here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Welcome back to video number 5 of my Sensible and Sustainable Weight Loss video series. I'm doing this series to help you lose weight in a healthy way, helping you build a lifestyle that will keep that weight off, and finding ways to do it that are enjoyable and painless so that you can enjoy your life through the entire process and beyond. We are coming at this from a place of self-love, not a place of deprivation. If you've missed videos 1 through 4, I will link a playlist above. I will also link it down in the description box. Go back to video 1, start at the beginning. Do not start here. And before we begin, let me give you a disclaimer. If you have a history of disordered eating, tread carefully. Talk with your medical professional, work with a therapist who is trained in disordered eating before you begin any weight loss journey. Discuss any lifestyle changes with your doctor or medical professional. The changes to eating and exercise that I suggest are healthy for most people, but there are always exceptions. You must keep in mind any risk factors or underlying medical conditions when you make a lifestyle change. And today specifically, we are talking about exercise. If you have an injury or again, an underlying medical condition that makes exercise inappropriate for you, then listen to that, not me. So let's talk exercise. There are 3 types of exercise that you need to keep your body healthy. The first is aerobic exercise or cardio. This form of exercise decreases our risk of a lot of disease states like heart disease, obesity, diabetes, certain types of cancer. It's also the type of exercise that you probably think of when you think about losing weight. It's things like running, jogging, swimming, dancing, yard work, right? It might be things in the gym like the elliptical or the bike, or organized like high intensity movement type classes. Think step aerobics. Do they still do step aerobics? The next is strength training or weightlifting or resistance training, whatever you want to call it. It is a type of exercise that tones our muscles, builds our muscles, that keep us strong. Increasing our muscle mass means that we are better able to do everyday tasks, from carrying groceries to, carrying the vacuum up the stairs. Having more muscle also can help protect us from injury. And when it comes to weight loss, having more muscle helps us burn more calories. So when you build a little additional muscle, it means you naturally burn more calories just moving around, living your life. And lastly is stretching, which keeps us limber and helps our muscles work efficiently. Doing activities like Tai Chi or yoga can help also sort of quiet our mental noise and reduce stress. I don't know if the sound is picking up that thunder, but anyways. And I know you have a lot going on already. We're meal planning, we're tracking calories. It's a lot. And I know you're probably already doing some amount of exercise, but I want to bring the focus back to it so that maybe we can increase our activity level a little bit, because it is very important to the health of your body and your weight loss journey. For many of us, as we continue through a calorie deficit, our bodies will just slowly, sort of without us even realize it, decrease the amount of activity that we get. I don't know how it happens, but it happens without us even realizing that we start taking shorter walks, or we skip an exercise class, or we lift a little less, or we just do a little less with everything. And it makes sense from the standpoint that our body is not getting enough calories, right? That's what we're purposefully trying to do. We're in a calorie deficit. We're, I want to say, starving the body. We're not starving it, right? But we're giving it a little bit less than it needs. So the body, in response to that, is going to try to conserve energy by sort of urging us to do a little less. But if we want to keep losing weight, we need to keep doing more. If we decrease our physical movement, then now that calorie deficit isn't what we thought it was, right? When we're getting less activity, our TDEE is going to change. Like if we're going to go from maybe being active to lightly active, or maybe we were just barely lightly active to begin with, and now we're almost sedentary. So that changes the number of calories. And now that calorie deficit we thought we had might actually end up being just a little bit closer to maintenance calories than we really wanted. So that means we could either decrease our calories further or increase our activity level. Now, while you might think, I don't like exercise, wouldn't it be easier to decrease calories? The answer is no, because eventually you will bottom out. You will decrease your calories down, and then your body's going to adjust again, and pretty soon you're not going to be able to go down any further. So we want to eat as many calories as we possibly can while losing weight. And the best way to do that is to increase the activity level and keep our calorie deficit minimal. We want to still be able to eat the meals we love, the foods we love, right? Again, it's not about deprivation. We want to feel fulfilled and satisfied after a meal. We want to be able to eat our favorite foods, to have a sweet treat, to have a glass of wine here or there, right? Again, we want to build a lifestyle that we are happy with. So in order to do that, we need to add a little bit more movement. So let's break these down a little bit as to what I would recommend. Let's start with cardio. Now, we already have our baseline sort of walking around activity, right? Just the number of steps that you get, walking to the car, grocery shopping, doing your thing. That number might be fairly high depending on what you do for a living, right? If you sit at a desk all day, it's probably on the lower side. If you're a waitress, it's probably a little bit on the higher side. But what we're talking about here is very specific, very purposeful movement. It's not the walking around the grocery store. It's like the going out and walking briskly for a certain amount of time. So most people, including myself, would recommend that about at least 4 days a week, maybe 4 to 5 days a week, that you are getting 30 minutes of purposeful exercise, purposeful movement that is fast enough or vigorous enough that it is getting your heart rate up, maybe, getting you not really out of breath, but that little bit where yeah, I'm moving. You need to maybe stop and breathe just a little, like not panting out of breath, but just like, whew, like that was a little bit more than walking to my car normally, right? Anyways, so yes, we want about 30 minutes of that purposeful movement 3, 4, 5 times a day, depending. If you're not very active now, start with 3. If you already move around quite a bit, maybe you're already getting 3 days of this, maybe up it to 4. If you're already doing 4, maybe up it to 5. And then once you're at 5, you're probably pretty good. Second is the strength training. Now with this, you don't need to go to the gym. If you have a gym and you like to go to the gym, by all means, knock yourself out. However, you can do strength training at home by just doing resistance, like body weight exercises. You can do, push-ups for your arms. You can do squats for your legs. You can do crunches. You can do planks, right? Like there's movements that you can do. And if you're unsure what all to do, you can search on YouTube for some beginner strength training exercises using body weight and see what comes up. Maybe you want to invest in some dumbbells so that you can add a little additional weight more than just your body weight. So right now you could do bicep curls, you could do squats holding the weights, you could do like a chest press. Just a simple set of dumbbells kind of opens up the exercises that you can do quite significantly. You can also look maybe at getting exercise bands might be a good option. The thing with weight training though is, especially for women, we tend to use lighter weights than we need to, right? We need to use fairly heavy weights. We need to push ourselves to build muscle. And you're not going to bulk up and look like, I don't know, a weightlifter. That's all that could come to mind, right? You're not going to bulk up in a bad way. It'll tone you up, which is good. I think we all would like to be a little more toned, to have a little bit of muscle definition in our arms would be great, right? we need to be using weights so that when you do 8 to 10 reps of an exercise, that the last couple reps are tiring. Like it's hard. You're slowing down. You're really pushing to get to the end. You need to exhaust the muscles so that you build new muscle tissue. That's how new muscle is formed. So if you're doing really light weights and you're like, yep, I'm doing bicep curls, and you're just like knocking them off and then you're done, that's not going to do anything. You need to be like hitting that last one, be like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Like, right? Like it needs to be hard work. So make sure you're using enough weight. And then we also want to do it often enough. We need to do upper body exercises a couple times a week and lower body exercises a couple times a week. The easiest thing to do would be a couple times a week, do a couple upper body and a couple lower body all in the same day. But you can break it up however works into your schedule. And lastly is the stretching, the flexibility. You probably know several stretches, right? You probably, when your arms are tight, you probably know how to like stretch out your triceps. You probably already just naturally sort of do some side bends. You might naturally like bend down and touch your toes to stretch stuff out. Do that every single day, multiple times a day. If you're not sure what you're doing or what new stretches you could do, YouTube is your friend. Google is your friend. Search for beginner-friendly stretches. Search for standard, common yoga poses, just so that you can do like a few just brief stretches throughout the day. And then I would recommend maybe finding a class on YouTube or going to an in-person class somewhere. Go to a yoga class. Find one to just learn the basics. And then you can either do yoga at home or continue to go to the class. I'm a big fan of going to in-person classes, but again, you do you. And then the last thing I want to mention, I know I've talked about the fact that I use the Lose It app on my phone to track my calories, and I also track my exercise in there as well. Just be aware that I know with Lose It, and I believe other ones do the same thing, there is a setting that will allow you to sort of add calories back into your calorie budget for exercise. And I know with Lose It, it defaulted to this and it confused me in the beginning and I had to like sort of figure it out. So I had in it, like I wanted my calories, my budget to be say 1,700 calories. And then I would put in my exercise and it would jump up, say like, oh, now you have 1,800 calories and oh, now you have 1,900 calories. So it would essentially give me those calories back. So if I walked enough to burn 200 calories, it added 200 calories so that I was like earning calories. And at first I thought that was kind of cool because I gave myself a calorie level based off of being sort of sedentary. So then so that was too low for me, right? Like it was, I want to say it was like 1,600 calories. Maybe it was less than that. I don't really remember. And so I would try to exercise so that I would earn calories to be able to eat a sufficient enough amounts of food to make myself full. So it worked at first, but then I realized like once I got a little more active, well, now that activity level was actually should already be in my TDEE calculator, and double counting things didn't make any sense. So there is a way to turn that off so that it tracks your exercise, like it keeps it all there, but it's not giving you calories as a reward for exercising. Because if you do that, then you're sort of undoing like that extra benefit of burning calories, right? So if you are in a calorie deficit of maybe like 200 calories lower than you need to eat, like lower than your maintenance, and then you do some cardio or some weightlifting each day and you're burning like 200 to 250 calories, then the combination of that, eating a little bit less and burning a little bit more, is what is going to get that weight loss that you're looking for. If you start eating a little bit less, working out more, so then eating more, it sort of cancels each other out and you're not going to be happy with your results. That's what I'm trying to say. So just take a look at the app that you're using and make sure that you are not inadvertently giving yourself too many calories. And then that's all I have for today. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again in video 6.